Well, welcome everybody to the Protopia booth at GTC 2026 I'm really excited to be here with our partners from MGT and HPE. We just had a really exciting announcement this morning around the launch of the MGT AI Experience Center, and would love to first do some introductions, maybe first with you, Robin, if you can introduce yourself, and then Brad.
Happy to. So Robin Bron, VP of AI Business Development at HPE, and I lead the Unleash AI program.
Awesome. Thanks, Iman. So I'm Brad Goodman, SVP for MGT. I run our professional services division.
Awesome. Brad, maybe I'll get started with you to maybe help the audience here get to know more about why the AI Experience Center for SLED in particular right now, which is where you have a really big focus and have been working with these customers for such a long time. What are the types of challenges that they're facing, and why this in particular right now, the AI Experience Center, is a big deal?
It's good. You started with an easy one.
Yep.
As I told you earlier today, one of the things that matters at MGT is SLED. The story I told you is very pertinent. If you take a map of the US and you throw a dart on it, the likelihood of you hitting a SLED customer, they're going to be the largest consumer of technology in and around that dart, which is amazing. That's amazing. The passion for us. And when you think about AI, for them, it's a challenge. Like, how do I use it from a compliance perspective? How do I use it like in state government or local governments with interdepartmency differences? Maybe the same data sets, but they're having challenges about how to operationalize it, how to solve actual problems and find real outcomes. So we've been doing for the last 50 years, being that SLED trusted provider. This is just a natural evolution of us taking what we've done in the past from a technology perspective and from a management consulting standpoint and applying it to AI to solve those problems in a different fashion that makes them more efficient and drives business outcomes.
Nice. Yeah, and it's been part of our journey with you as we've kind of learned the SLED space in a lot more detail. Coming off the heels of a few months ago, we were part of a broader announcement with NVIDIA around AI factories for government at large. But then when we talk about SLED, a lot of the times there's constraints about the amount of compute that they might need, but nonetheless, the outcomes are still something that we can collectively drive for them. So super excited to maybe get into some of what those outcomes look like. But also, Robin, maybe before we go there even, you lead the Unleash AI program, and we're part of bringing both these companies into a joint solution here. Could you tell the audience a little bit more about what that program does in the HPE ecosystem?
Absolutely, and I think you've already started to talk on really the focus of Unleash AI, which is outcomes, which is how do we help bring together an innovation ecosystem of partnerships to help our customers and our partners with that last mile of the solution to be able to generate those outcomes, to answer those customer challenges that they have. And how do we bring that together and make it real for them, whether it's with one or more than one of our ISV partners, but creating that total solution that solves the problem. And then being able to work out with our channel partners like MGT, with Unleash AI partners like yourself, to deliver that entire package, of course, based on the best infrastructure from HPE.
Yep. So Brad, if we kind of focus a little bit more on the customer workflows, like, where do you see the biggest impact for these SLED customers when we're talking about these outcomes with Robin? In your view, since you work with these customers all the time, what are the biggest impact workflows for that?
So from a workflow perspective, on the case of education, it's about student outcomes. So how do we do a better job being more efficient from an educational perspective? So that's mentoring, giving tools to teachers to help them be better, and then also tools for students from an educational state testing, that type of scenario. In the case of higher education, similar scenarios, but both of them have a lot of compliance requirements around data privacy, data security, and then they also have to worry about it from a financial perspective. How do I pay for this thing? It's kind of the wild west. Shadow IT was the thing that we talked about like 10 to 15 years ago, and now it's Shadow AI. We have principals, we have teachers, you have students leveraging off-the-shelf open solutions. It's probably not the right fit for these agencies and organizations. This is an opportunity for us to leverage the best of breed from a private by design inference, HPE infrastructure, and MGT services to give them an ecosystem where they can do things like oversubscription, where we can do multi-tenancy in a common flat platform to solve the same problems. When you're talking to K-12s, if you go talk to one of them, the same challenges that one district has is the exact same challenges that another district has. The same with municipal governments, where it's public safety, whether it's public works. They all have the same problems. So if you can provide them with an ecosystem that they can leverage, and the consulting and platform side of the house, it really helps them from a financial model perspective to save money, where they can look to us from an oversubscription and also leverage what we've already done and provided for other agencies. That's really what our goal is. Specifically about the Experience Center, I know it's launching in June, so we're working really hard with a couple of targeted customers to work through and solve from a workshopping perspective, what are the challenges for your organization, knowing in the back of our mind when we're working with that fire department or that education division from a state agency perspective, when we crack that nut, when we solve that problem, the applicability across the entire country is exactly the same. So it's really just stamping that out for the SLED customer.
Yeah, I really, really like one of the parts of this idea around the AI Experience Center, where you're able to bring customers on board, not only to show them what's possible in these workflows, but being able to immediately take them from that kind of pilot, I just want to know what's possible, to you can just start running right now. And I think our contribution to that has been, as you were describing, this notion of you have a very capable platform, and then you're also breaking down the costs to the end customer by way of managing this multi-tenant environment, but in a private by design fashion. I think those three parts of the story have been something that's been very exciting for us to see come together. Robin, when you, I know that Unleash AI is not, it's a very curated group, right? It's not something that just anybody can walk into. So it was very, very good for us to be able to find our way into the ecosystem with you guys. But
we're excited to have you.
Yeah, but when you think about the market, right? I'm curious, in the broader sense, where are the places that this notion of private information needs to run through AI? And so having a solution like Protopia in the Unleash AI, what were the signs in the market that you saw that made this a good fit for the program?
I think that we're seeing several things, and across really any regulated industry where you have PII or personal information being used. So obviously in SLED, a lot of it comes up, and we love being able to lean on kind of your expertise and helping those environments kind of navigate those waters. But when I look more broadly around what we see with Unleash AI, there's two parts of it. One is a number of our customers are asking for sovereign implementations, being able to keep their data in a known kind of state within their own environment, within their own country, within their own walls, and being able to accommodate that, to support that with something like private cloud AI, and be able to lean in. So we have kind of that sovereign request from a number of our customers. But also when we're talking to our customers, really, whether it's in healthcare, whether it's in government, whether it's in financial services, whether it's in retail, there are definitely elements that go across all of that where you have this personal information, you have that experience, and they're wanting to lean in with the intelligence that AI can bring, with the ease, with the personalized experience, all of those good things that we're looking to leverage from AI. But we're now in that wave of, we love it, we tried it, it's cool, but how do we do it safely? How do we do it with the compliance and in the regulatory environment that we exist in? And that's where we've, with working with folks such as yourselves at Protopia, this is how we can help our customers lean in.
So kind of focusing on that, being able to use private information, I think one of the things that got us excited about both working with Unleash AI and then finding joint partners like MGT was this idea of a lot of workflows and use cases at the end of the day will be bound by some ROI arguments for the end customer, right? And this,
as it always should be,
right,
frankly.
Yes.
Right, and this ROI argument, the return part of it has heavy dependency on the ability to use private information. sensitive information in some way, because that's where the real outcomes are. That's where the
Problems.
hard problems are solved. But at the same time, the investment part of it will have some leg in, well, if I invest in compute infrastructure, how well utilized will it be? If I have to separate hardware for every single entity that has some sort of sensitive data source, then those systems are going to be
That's just not scalable.
right, heavily underutilized, not scalable. And it also just hurts even the seller of the compute, because then there's underutilization in the systems and the customer's unhappy. So the idea of being able to solve that in an environment that is cost sensitive and has sensitive data is what we're really excited about in the partnership, and looking forward to exploring that in the AI Experience Center, which, as Brad, you mentioned, launches in June. And I know that there's already some customers that you have earmarked for that. But could you tell the audience if there's a way that if there's people interested in state and local, how they can maybe get on a waiting list, or is there a process for onboarding them?
So we're already working with a couple of targeted customers, but we actually are going to be hosting, or you guys are going to be hosting for us a sign-up sheet to engage with that. To actually, what we're going to be doing is a session to workshop their process. So MGT, our management consulting team, we actually have AI Center of Excellence. Isaac Bell is going to be presenting with both of you guys tomorrow, actually. The purpose is for us to spend about an hour or two with you to workshop the problem, understand where the challenges are, understand what data they be accessing, and then ultimately to script that out so they can see it potentially even with their own data. So you guys are hosting that for us. They'll be absolutely available to sign up for that. The earlier you submit, the more likelihood you're going to be at go live, being able to see your problem being solved inside of the experience.
If there's any last thoughts, Robin, before we sign off here?
We're just incredibly excited about bringing this experience center together with MGT and Protopia, and really the promise of helping to solve these type of challenges and helping people, frankly, get started with AI in a secure and confidential way.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us, and looking forward to the work.
Thank you.
Cheers.